Hey, thanks so much for taking the time to spend about 10 minutes with me. I wanted to take this opportunity to just review with you the five thresholds as you are reflecting on tracing your own journey. And I thought maybe this review might just be helpful in terms of a personal approach to the thresholds and what you might be looking for within your own uh, journey of faith that might relate to each of these thresholds. So remember, you can always go back to your material to kind of look at what these thresholds are as well. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of both, just sharing a little of my thoughts and looking at the material as well. So, trust. So the five thresholds: trust, curiosity, openness, seeking, and intentional discipleship. So the first one, trust. What did trust look like for me as a practicing Catholic that in this threshold led to Lord led me into curiosity? Well, for those of you who were part of the training that I did, if you remember, I spoke about another Catholic and his name was Tom. So for me as a practicing Catholic, that trust was another Catholic. Now, for some others of a practicing Catholic, or maybe someone who's just getting back into practicing their faith, it might have been a time of formation. It might have been a gathering at the parish where someone was witnessing or talking about what it means to have a personal relationship with Christ. And that might have intrigued you enough to maybe continue a conversation with that person. Or someone else. It may have intrigued you to say to, someone sitting at the table with you, hey, what do you think about this ordeal about having a personal relationship with Jesus Christ? So that for me was the trust, and it was Tom who I had met in other meetings, and he was a Catholic, so that right there developed that trust. Me moving into curiosity was pretty quick because remember, in curiosity there are three stages, right? There is the awareness, there is the engagement, and then there's the exchange. The awareness just came from my friend Tom sharing with me about his relationship with a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. And just in his joy that he spoke about, that helped me think about, wow, that guy has a lot of joy in his life as a Catholic. And also, as you know, just from the training, it also kind of made me think like, is this guy off the rails or something as a Catholic? But years ago, that was years ago. But that awareness made me start to think, wow, what does that mean to have a real personal relationship with Jesus Christ, the way that Tom was explaining it? So that awareness moved me very quickly into engagement where I was asking questions. And then he was starting to share with me his journey and the place of curiosity for him and what he started to do. And so he led me to a few different books, and I started diving into scripture more, and the exchange started to happen between the two of us. The exchange of him sharing with me what this meant for him. But then, as I had shared, that quickly went away because I moved and we kind of lost track with one another. So that place of curiosity moving into openness, um, there's a long gap there for me. But when someone does move into openness, remember the word for this threshold, the important word for this threshold is change, right? That I'm considering the change that I need in the spiritual change that is going to happen as a result of having this relationship or personal relationship with Jesus Christ. And in this threshold openness, it's really going to be yes, I am willing and ready for that, or no, I'm not. So think of a time, if you have been here, where you were considering or have considered the very openness of your heart to Jesus because you do desire a spiritual change for your life as a result of having a relationship with him, a personal relationship. So where was that time in your life where that started to happen? I know for me, that was, it was another Catholic. In fact, it was a priest who really started to share with me some of his own personal stories. And that drove me even more into some of the encyclicals that JP2 had written, and some of my studies as well. And that really, I saw that I desired what I could have as a result of a relationship with Jesus Christ. So that moved me into seeking, where seeking is you've made this decision and you have the willingness to change. And just taking a look at a few of the notes here, you know, they'll speak about the reordering of their life. They're seeking out to have that personal relationship with him, and things change. They will spend time. Their prayer life will increase or be different. So they kind of reorder their life a little bit. Maybe for you it was, I want to get to know him more, so I'm going to go to Eucharistic adoration, or I want to get to know him more, I'm going to spend more time in Scripture. You may not have necessarily moved into intentional discipleship yet, but you're hungry and you're seeking it out. Maybe you're spending more time with people who do have a personal relationship, or with Jesus Christ, or desire that as well. And then there's that shift, right? There's that shift into intentional discipleship. So for seeking, reflect on a time in your life. Maybe it's now. Maybe it's right now, and that's great. Reflect on a time in your life when you were hungry for Jesus Christ, where you wanted to know more about the message, the gospel message. You wanted to know more about why God has sent Jesus Christ. So think about a time in your life when that was happening. And that is the threshold of seeking for you. And maybe it is right now. Maybe this is the time where you are within this threshold. Because as we move into intentional discipleship, it is a sacrifice, right? There is a cost to it. We do change. When we drop our nets, we become an intentional discipleship. We have said, I desire to follow you. And I desire to follow you because I want you to continue to transform my life. And there's this great teaching in the National Directory of Catechesis that I want to read to you, and I love it. And it's right in your materials. Right in your materials. You can get it out of the Catechesis as well. But it says this: the conversion is the acceptance of a personal relationship with Christ, a sincere adherence to him, and a willingness to conform one's life to his. When you're moving through these thresholds and you get to the intentional discipleship, you have said to yourself, I want to conform my life to him because of what he offers for me. And this is, for me, this is the pathway that God has given to me, to us, to know him and to understand all his love and mercy and compassion. So the other part of this quote is, conversion to Christ involves making a genuine commitment. A genuine commitment. Not some like, oh yeah, that'd be kind of neat. When I read this, it was like, my commitment to my wife is not like a light commitment. It's a deep, genuine commitment of love, sacrificial love. And that's what I desire and want with my relationship with Christ. So that's why I follow him, and why I made that decision to drop my net, so to speak, and to say, yes, I am all in to follow you. Now, that doesn't mean I don't fail. It doesn't mean I don't trip, right? But maybe think of a time. Did you do that? Is there a time in your life where you said, "Gosh, I truly understand, and I want to follow Christ right now. I want to learn more about Him, and I want to allow Him to change my life by continuing to be renewed by Him." John Paul II, the second, um, Pope Francis speaks about this anew, and Pope Francis says he desires us to encounter Christ each and every day so He can renew our hearts. So I hope these few minutes have helped you. I never really did take a sip of my coffee. I had it here ready to kind of have a cup of coffee with you. I hope this helped you out a little bit in reflecting on your tracing your journey. And I really look forward to you sharing some of this experience with all of us when we get back together. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.